The Kite Runner is the first novel by Afghan-American author Khaled Hosseini. Published in 2003 by Riverhead Books, it tells the story of Amir, a young boy from the Wazir Akbar Khan district of Kabul, whose closest friend is Hassan. The story is set against a backdrop of tumultuous events. From the fall of Afghanistan's monarchy through the Soviet military intervention, the exodus of refugees to Pakistan and the United States, and the rise of the Taliban regime. Hosseini has commented that he considers The Kite Runner to be a father-son story, emphasizing the familial aspects of the narrative, an element that he continued to use in his later works. Themes of guilt and redemption feature prominently in the novel, with a pivotal scene depicting an act of sexual assault that happens against Hassan that Amir fails to prevent. The situation as a whole was the main reason why Amir and Hassan's friendship ended. The latter half of the book centers on Amir's attempts to atone for this transgression by rescuing Hassan's son 2 decades later. The Kite Runner became a bestseller after being printed in paperback and was popularized in book clubs. It was a #1 New York Times bestseller for over 2 years, with over 7 million copies sold in the United States. Plot summary. Part 1. Amir, a well-to-do Pashtun boy, and Hassan, a Hazara who is the son of Ali, Amir's father's servant, spend their days kite fighting in the hitherto peaceful city of Kabul. Flying kites was a way to escape the horrific reality the two boys were living in. Hassan is a successful kite runner for Amir. He knows where the kite will land without watching it. Both boys are motherless. Amir's mother died in childbirth, while Hassan's mother, Sananga, simply abandoned him and Ali. Amir's father, a wealthy merchant Amir affectionately refers to as Baba, loves both boys. He makes a point of buying Hassan exactly the same things as Amir, to Amir's annoyance. He even pays to have Hassan's cleft lip surgically corrected. On the other hand, Baba is often critical of Amir, considering him weak and lacking in courage, even threatening to physically punish him when he complains about Hassan. Amir finds a kinder fatherly figure in Rahim Khan, Baba's closest friend, who understands him and supports his interest in writing, whereas Baba considers that interest to be worthy only of females. In a rare moment when Amir is sitting on Baba's lap rather than being shooed away, as a bother he asks why his father drinks alcohol, which is forbidden by Islam. Baba tells him that the mullahs are hypocrites and the only real sin is theft, which takes many forms. Asif, an older boy with a sadistic taste for violence, mocks Amir for socializing with a Hazara, which according to him, is an inferior race whose members belong only in his Rajat. Asif is himself only half Pashtun, having a German mother and a typical blonde-haired blue-eyed German appearance. One day, he prepares to attack Amir with brass knuckles. But Hassan defends Amir, threatening to shoot out Asif's eye with his slingshot. Asif backs off but swears to take revenge one day. One triumphant day, Amir wins the local kite fighting tournament and finally earns Baba's praise. Hassan runs for the last cut kite, a great trophy, saying to Amir, "For you, 1,000 times over." However, after finding the kite, Hassan encounters Asif in an alleyway. Hassan refuses to give up the kite, and Asif severely beats him and rapes him. Amir witnesses the act but is too scared to intervene. He knows that if he fails to bring home the kite, Baba would be less proud of him. He feels incredibly guilty but knows his cowardice would destroy any hopes for Baba's affections. So he keeps quiet about the incident. Afterwards, Amir keeps distant from Hassan. His feelings of guilt prevent him from interacting with the boy. Hassan's mental and physical well-being begin to deteriorate. Amir begins to believe that life would be easier if Hassan were not around. So he plants a watch and some money under Hassan's mattress in hopes that Baba will make him leave. Hassan falsely confesses when confronted by Baba. Although Baba believes there is no act more wretched than stealing, he forgives him. To Baba's sorrow, Hassan and Ali leave anyway, because Hassan has told Ali what happened to him. Amir is freed of the daily reminder of his cowardice and betrayal, but he still lives in their shadow. Part 2. In 1979, 5 years later, the Soviet Union militarily intervened in Afghanistan. Baba and Amir escaped to Peshawar, Pakistan, and then to Fremont, California, where they settle in a rundown apartment. Baba begins work at a gas station. After graduating from high school, Amir takes classes at San Jose State University to develop his writing skills. Every Sunday, Baba and Amir make extra money selling used goods at a flea market in San Jose. There, Amir meets fellow refugee Suraya Taheri and her family. Baba is diagnosed with terminal cancer but is still capable of granting Amir one last favor. He asks Suraya's father's permission for Amir to marry her. He agrees and the two marry. Shortly thereafter, Baba dies. Amir and Suraya settle down in a happy marriage, but to their sorrow, they learn that they cannot have children. Amir embarks on a successful career as a novelist. 15 years after his wedding, Amir receives a call from his father's best friend, and his childhood father figure, Rahim Khan. Khan, who is dying, asks Amir to visit him in Peshawar. He enigmatically tells Amir, there is a way to be good again. Part 3. From Rahim Khan, Amir learns that Hassan and Ali are both dead. Ali was killed by a landmine. Hassan and his wife were killed after Hassan refused to allow the Taliban to confiscate Baba and Amir's house in Kabul. Rahim Khan further reveals that Ali was sterile and was not Hassan's biological father. Hassan was actually the son of Sanawar and Baba, making him Amir's half-brother. Finally, Khan tells Amir that the reason he has called Amir to Pakistan is to ask him to rescue Hassan's son, Sohrab, from an orphanage in Kabul. Amir searches for Sohrab, accompanied by Farid, an Afghan taxi driver and veteran of the war with the Soviets. They learn that a Taliban official comes to the orphanage often, brings cash, and usually takes a girl away with him. Occasionally he chooses a boy, recently Sohrab. The orphanage director tells Amir how to find the official. And Farid secures an appointment at his home by claiming to have personal business with him. Amir meets the Taliban leader, who reveals himself as Asif. Sohrab is being kept at Asif's house as a dancing boy. Asif agrees to relinquish him if Amir can beat him in a fight. Asif then badly beats Amir, breaking several bones, until Sohrab uses a slingshot to fire a brass ball into Asif's left eye. Sohrab helps Amir out of the house, where he passes out and wakes up in a hospital. Amir tells Sohrab of his plans to take him back to America and possibly adopt him. However, American authorities demand evidence of Sohrab's orphan status. Amir tells Sohrab that he may have to go back to the orphanage for a little while as they have encountered a problem in the adoption process, and Sohrab, terrified about returning to the orphanage, attempts suicide. Amir eventually manages to take him back to the United States. After his adoption, Sohrab refuses to interact with Amir or Suraya, until Amir reminisces about Hassan and kites and shows off some of Hassan's tricks. In the end, Sohrab only gives a lopsided smile. But Amir takes it with all his heart as he runs the kite for Sohrab, saying, "For you, 1,000 times over."